During my final year at college, I found myself sharing a dilapidated Victorian house with a handful of friends, each of us claiming our personal havens amidst the creaking bones of communal living. The departure of Gabe, one of our circle, to the cozier pastures of cohabitation prompted a search for a new tenant. Our quest, channeled through the unpredictable currents of Craigslist, introduced us to Sean. His presence was immediately imposing, a mesh of dark, enigmatic features and a build that towered over us, his lean frame casting long shadows even in daylight. He chose the room next to mine, filling the void Gabe had left behind. The early days of Sean's tenancy were marked by an eerie calm. It wasn't until a cold, dreary afternoon that the air between us first tingled with the electric charge of foreboding. I stumbled upon Sean in the living room, his eyes harboring storms as he confessed to me, "There's something you should know. I have parasomnia." His attempt to normalize potential nocturnal disturbances, screams, cries, or conversations held in the grip of sleep, did little to quell the unease that suddenly enveloped me. That very evening, as twilight bled into darkness, the house seemed to pulsate with an unspoken tension. Sean's abrupt appearance amidst a discussion of his condition seemed less coincidental, and more like a calculated intrusion. His casual demeanor failing to mask the charged atmosphere, the house's quietude was shattered later that night by a series of deliberate knocks on my bedroom door. My query of, "Who's there?" was swallowed by the silence that followed. Morning light brought no confession from my other housemates, leaving Sean as the prime suspect, a theory that amused rather than alarmed them. This pattern of nocturnal disturbances escalated, with the knocks giving way to a chilling orchestra of footsteps and a subsequent more forceful pounding at my door. Sean's daytime admissions of sleepwalking did little to allay my growing alarm, his assurances of harmlessness sounding increasingly hollow against the backdrop of our unsettling reality. However, it was not until a whispering void replaced the knocking that true terror took hold. Awakened by hushed tones, I was confronted by the sight of Sean standing in the darkest corner of my room, his back to me, engaged in a low, frenetic dialogue with the shadows. His sudden pivot towards me, eyes hollow and voice eerily calm, commanded, "Open the door," before he retreated with a haunting smile, leaving a cold void in his wake. The crescendo of these nocturnal episodes culminated in a cacophony of knocks and Sean's own screams for entry, reverberating through the house's ancient frame. The morning's light revealed his absence, his room a barren shell, devoid of any trace of his occupancy. Sean had evaporated, leaving behind a vacuum filled with questions and a haunting ambiguity that lingered like a specter. The shadow of that empty room stretched far beyond its physical confines, a perpetual reminder of the enigmatic and unsettling presence that had briefly intersected with our lives. It left us to ponder the true nature of Sean's affliction, and the possibility that, perhaps, the house itself played a role in the nightly disturbances, an entity with its own dark appetite, temporarily satiated by Sean's presence.